my story with Jags started when I was 19, so 14 years ago. And actually no, it started longer than that actually. It started when I was about 10, 11 years old. And I don't know, I've no idea where I started hearing about Jags. My grandparents gave me a X300 brochure, an XJR, a few brochures from Jaguar as a birthday present, and so I used to spend hours just looking at the pictures and looking through the brochures and dreaming about when I would own one myself. And when I was 19, I was fortunate enough to be able to go out and buy an X300, bought a nice green British Racing green one. And went from there. I had that for 5 years and had various other Jags in between. And yeah, I've had one X300, I've had about 3 XJ40s, 3 S-types. This is the 3rd S-type I've had. And the reason I went for this one is I had an XJS for a few years, and I kind of felt like I was neglecting it. It was being sat outside by the sea and not used for weeks on end, and thought, can't really keep doing that to a car of that era. So I thought, well, I don't really want to be without a Jag. I quite like having a Jag. Well, for me actually this one is my daily runner. And I thought, well, I've had 2 3-litre V6 S-types, one of them manual, one automatic. And I didn't like the manual gearbox, it just didn't feel right to me. And the automatic one just didn't seem like it had enough power. So I thought, well, ideal thing, a modern Jag, modern car, 2003. I thought I'd go for an S-type, but I wanted an R. And I came across this one, and it was advertised spares or repair, had engine management light on, and they had it up for 2,500. I offered him 2 and he accepted it, so I thought okay. And I was already fully prepared for welding on the sills. I did not know there was going to be as much as there was. And so I bought it, and it was in limp mode. It had all sorts of problems with it. Rear ABS sensors weren't working, and so you couldn't actually physically get it over 30 miles an hour. So when we actually had to take the rear axle out to do some of the welding, parts of the actual chassis were missing, the actual proper structure of the car. So take the rear axle out, both bolts snapped, so I had to cut a section of the chassis out, have the broken bolts drilled out, re-threaded, and then we had to weld them in exactly the right spot, otherwise the car would crap. But we got all that done. It took about a year of welding. I actually ended up with a friend of mine doing it, and he'd do a day and then he'd leave it for a few weeks, and then he'd phone me up and he says, right, I'll borrow the ramp at work and I'll do some more welding on so and so day. And yeah, we worked out, I think it was about 28 days of welding. But yeah, we got it done. Other than that, I've not really done too much to it. Supercharger had to come out because I had to change knock sensors. That was the cause of intermittent restricted performance. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much what I've had to do to it. The engine management light still has a habit of coming on every now and then. And it says it's now the fault that comes up now. It says there's a air leak. That's probably because I've upgraded the intake, and one of the hoses I don't think I've obviously tightened up quite tight enough. So that's something I need to do at a later date. But there we go, it stays off for weeks. So other than that, I've got an A bulb loose in the headlight. I tried to change the bulb and it fell in rather than coming out, which is a bit annoying. The R badges, all the paint's peeling, so that's something I'm going to do at a later date. I'll probably actually, rather than get new badges because they are expensive, I'll probably just get some model acrylic paint and paint them myself. Probably a cheaper option. I've also got an R badge to go in the front, because one thing that really annoys me with these cars is they've got R badges on the sides and on the back, but there's nothing on the front. So I bought one, and it was on eBay. It wasn't too expensive, but I'm quite pleased with it. It's quite smart, and so I'm looking forward to being out. It's quite good quality. The problem with one of my biggest issues with these cars is there is no way of upgrade. It's very difficult, to upgrade the sound system. There was an option for auxiliary input. It's not cheap. And there is someone I found who can put all new Bluetooth and stuff into the touchscreen, Bluetooth and DAB radios and stuff like that. But that's about £650. That's expensive. So maybe at a later date. It rusts more than I thought. Considering I still park it near the sea, it does rust worse than I thought. I've got to replace one of the front wings because that's got some corrosion on it. And well, we all know what the corrosion issues they have with the sills are. It was the reason it took so long for me to get this on the road. And my only other bugbear with this is actually the gearbox. It had, when I first started driving it, if you didn't pull away really, really carefully, it would change from first to second with an almighty bang. I actually thought at first that something had broken on the rear axle. So I changed the filter and fluid. The filter is actually part of the sump pan of the gearbox. So I changed all of that. That's not cheap, and it's helped a lot, but it's still not quite right. And it's been a couple of years, so I probably will be doing that in the not too distant future. But yeah, other than that, I've been really, really happy with the car. Mine is fortunate enough to have the very rare option of a mini disc player. It's so rare, some people don't actually realise that they did even come with a mini disc player. But mine's got it. The only annoying thing is that it won't play MP3s off the mini disc, so it is actually more effort than just burning a CD. So I might change it at a later date, but I quite like it as something a bit different. My heated seats don't work either. Well, they used to work, so I don't know if I've just blown a fuse or if the actual seat pads are. I don't know if the passenger one works, because I don't use that seat. Other people sit there. So maybe one day I'll have to turn the heated seat on without them realising and see whether they notice. So that is pretty much the story of me and my daily runner Jag. I don't think I'd be selling this one anytime soon. I'd like to get a bit more power out of it, but then everyone says that you get too familiar with cars too easily, and can be quite, you get used to the power of the cars and all of a sudden you want more power. The good thing is with these cars, there's a lot of things you can do. Supercharger pulley, you can put a smaller one on, so it makes more boost. I think there's a couple of options on that as well. I understand if you put bigger injectors, upgrade the injectors in it, fuel injectors, and have a proper dyno tune and proper remap, you can get them up to about 500 horsepower, and they're 400 or 390 to 400 horsepower standard, with around 400 newton meters of torque. So yeah, it's no slouch, and it is pretty quick, so which is always good fun. And it's not actually that uneconomical. I mean, at the moment my average trip says it's doing 21.7 miles per gallon, which for a 4.2 litre supercharged V8 is pretty good actually. Yeah, so that is the story behind my S-Type R. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed it. As always, please hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, and I'll see you next week.